more time I spend out in my train room, the less content I am having this big old hole here in my layout. Now initially the reason for doing that was for airflow for my PTAC unit. But I think I'm going to have plenty of airflow going underneath the benchwork. But at the same time, I can't close this off completely because I won't have any access to the back of the layout. So what I think I'm going to do is cover half of this so I can still get to the back of the layout. And then I'm going to build some mountains up here in the front. I don't have to build this up too deep, with the thickness of the foam being, right here. So I'm going to put rock castings on the outside. Now when I get up to the top, where I want it to match up to this height, well then I'll put a full top piece on it. But until I'm stacking up my height, I can just use these narrower pieces. And then this will be a mountain that somewhat blends into this area here and carry across. It will also give me a way to break the scene up, where if I want to run a train in here, depending on how long the train is, well then it'll look like it disappears over here and then another train comes out here. And this is just the rough shape, just to build up, the terrain shape. It all needs to be carved. And I'll start carving this once I have a bunch of rock castings ready to install. And like I mentioned, I still need to put some terrain shape up on the top. And I'll probably build up the back edge of the top and slope the front a little bit. So adding this makes my layout look a lot smaller, but I think in the end I'm going to be a lot happier with that. Where there's a lot of opportunities here for scenery, and imagine trees all along the top, trees all along the top here. I think that'll probably look pretty good. Another change I made is I cut this piece of MDF out. Now, I had a piece of MDF that came out even with the fascia and rounded back. And my initial intentions was to have that as a view block, but I just really didn't like it. Now I kept this much of it here, and that's fine. But this portion I've cut out. For this area, this whole piece was one pull-out section, and that was just crazy. So I've cut a hole here, and this will now be my pull-out section right here. And I may do a little bit of carving on this hill to kind of blend the shape into this backdrop. So I may take this corner off a little bit. In hindsight, I used a whole lot of plaster cloth for no reason. End up cutting a lot of this out. Then I have to cut this back. Allow it to fit up against the tunnel portal. Alright, so I have it vertical, and I have it fit to the portal, and the casting was thin right here and it chipped. So the next thing I'll do is I'll take my pencil and I'll trace in behind so I can cut it down to match the terrain. Well, you see with this second piece, this joint is not real clean. That's okay, because for each of the joints of my castings, I have to do something to cover the joints up. And I'll have to do the same thing here. What I'm thinking right now is making something out of styrene. It maybe looks like some cast concrete or something. I don't really know yet. It was important to get this retaining wall in place. Now it's not finished, but nothing here in front can be done without the wall being in place. I'm going to pick up 12 cars and see how many can be hidden behind the new landscape in the big loop. We're going to take my new Walthers Proto GP9 and see how it performs pulling 11 40-foot boxcars and a caboose. I'm going to fire it up. Turn the headlight. I'm going to go pick up some cars. I have the throttle setting at 5 right now. It's down to 3. 2. Okay, we're coupled. Down to 0. Move the direction to forward. I'm going to go up to 15. I have the throttle control speed set at 15. And now we're going to take our train out onto the main line. All the frogs on my double crossover are powered. And I have the throttle speed setting at 14. Now the double crossover are the only turnouts on my layout that aren't controlled by tortoise machines. Now I like the potential for this canyon as a finished scene. Now, can I run a 13-car train before the locomotive comes out the tunnel? And these are 40-foot box cars with a caboose. I can. Might even be able to go 14. I think 14 cars would probably be about the longest train I run. I think anything longer than that would look good. Imagine some of these rock castings here. Of course, this will all have to be carved. That's it for this video. A few layout updates. So thanks for watching.